Well, Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown is on a whirlwind trip to Ottawa to bend the ear of a number of politicians on issues ranging from bail reform to asylum seekers.
And the mayor joined us live from Ottawa via FaceTime this morning. Mayor Brown, good to talk to you. So you had a conversation with the Prime Minister yesterday, along with the Minister of Justice, Public Safety and Immigration, etc. What was it specifically you wanted to address with the Prime Minister, and what kind of a reception did you receive?
Well, my biggest concern right now is public safety in the GTA. We've seen break-and-enters skyrocket. We've seen auto thefts that are linked to the break-and-enters, obviously at record levels in the GTA. And rather than just criticize, I wanted to go to Ottawa and make suggestions of, how our police believe we could handle these challenges. And so, he was generous with his time. He was open to our ideas, and it centered around. We need to have more stringent bail provisions for the theft of property. So if you steal a car, it's not a slap on the wrist. Even the gold heist that we had recently, where the police were able to arrest everyone because it relates to property, all the individuals who were caught by police in Canada's largest gold heist were actually released. And so we really want to see the police here in the GTA really want to see more stringent conditions for property crimes when it comes to bail. And then on auto thefts, we need scanners. I'm a broken record on this, but we scan less than 1% of the shipping containers. It's too easy to get stolen goods out of Canada, and the only level of government that can do this is the government of Canada. We need to put scanners at the intermodal hubs in Brampton and Vaughan, and of course the Port of Montreal, which is the most vulnerable. And lastly, my plea to the Minister of Public Safety and the Prime Minister was to deputize local police. Right now, if you're a Toronto police officer, if you're a Peel police officer, you have no jurisdiction at the intermodal hubs. You've got no jurisdiction at the ports, which means they can follow a tracking device for a stolen car, and as soon as it gets to a rail line or the port, they can't enter. And that's broken. That needs to be fixed.
Yeah, certainly many issues that are pressing that you suggested to them. Did you get any kind of concrete answer from them as to whether or not your suggestions will move the needle? Did they say that they were going to take action on any of these things that you're asking for?
They did, but obviously it's the follow through and execution that counts. But I would say, they certainly shared my concern over the surge in some of these crimes. You look at auto thefts, it's a 300% increase in the GTA in the last 4 years. We're seeing break and enters up 430%, and so I know they were sympathetic to my concerns, and they have promised to act on them. But that's my job to hold them to account, to make sure that we push them to make sure they do. But I'm optimistic they're going to have some announcements in the coming weeks.
On bail reform, it's something, Mayor Brown, that we hear a lot about. A lot of people criticize that part of our justice system, even, of course, the lack of judges. We're seeing cases being thrown out of courts as well. You mentioned that you discussed bail reform, but you also seem encouraged, perhaps. So do you really think there is going to be concrete action on that soon? Because if you think you can commit a crime and basically be out on bail the next day, that's not really much of a disincentive for people either thinking about breaking into a home, for example, or stealing a car.
Yeah, they're saying yes, but obviously these are legislative changes, and so what I'm concerned about is what we're seeing now. That even complicates it further. Is a lot of the organized crime in our country is preying upon young offenders, knowing that the threshold is less for them. There are some reports that you see young offenders even being tortured to commit the first crime for an organized crime syndicate, knowing that that's a loophole in the criminal justice system. What I said to the Prime Minister and to the Minister of Public Safety and the Minister of Justice was never underestimate how sophisticated organized crime is. If there's a loophole, they will drive a truck through it. And in this case, many stolen cars.
Okay, Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown, appreciate your time this morning, and hopefully, what you're asking for does lead to some concrete action. We'll speak to you soon about that. Thank you.
Thank you so much.